Dear learners, today's MOOC will be on the unit Basic Concepts Related to Social Work. Now let us begin with a brief introduction of the unit. The profession of social work is relatively new. As a new profession, social work absorbs ideas from previous concepts. The core basis of social work includes social service, welfare, and reform philosophies. Social work requires social service, social reform, justice, social policy and legislation, human rights, social security, and development. The first concept that we are going to discuss today is social service. Social service stems from the desire to help the needy fellow man in a human society. It is a range of public services intended to provide support and assistance to particular groups, which commonly include the disadvantaged. The main groups towards which social services are catered includes families, children, youth, elders, women, the sick, and the disabled. Social services consists of facilities and services such as public education, welfare, infrastructure, mail, libraries, food banks, social work, universal health care, fire services, public transportation, and public housing. In previous times, it was a religious duty of people to provide care and protection to others suffering from various kinds of distresses. In India, almsgiving was considered as a path of moksha. At present times as well, almsgiving to the poor is considered an act of charity, and synonymously the term social work is used for such acts of charity. However, almsgiving is not social work because the aim of help in social work is to solve clients' problems scientifically. In social work profession, causative factors are investigated and therapeutic models are utilized. A social work concept, Sharamadan, is to voluntarily provide physical help to any individual, group, or community. Some examples are construction of public roads, public sanitation, helping victims of natural and man-made disasters. In such activities, labor is provided without any remuneration. However, it cannot be said to be a major part of social work profession as it lacks proper techniques to help clients to deal with adjustment problems. Prior to industrialization, the provision of social services was largely confined to private organizations and charities, but they are now generally regarded as a necessary function of the society and a mechanism through which government may opt to address social issues. The provision of social services by government is linked to the belief of universal human rights, democratic principles, as well as religious and cultural values. Social work is the procedure that deals specifically with individuals which have issues with their social environments. As aiding the helpless is the guiding principle of social service, enabling the helpless to help themselves is the goal of social work. The goal of social services are achieved by social work. The fundamental objective is to provide people with the knowledge and tools necessary for productive social engagement. The second one is social welfare and administration. For the weaker and more disadvantaged sections of society, social welfare includes a wide range of specialized services. The traditional methods of welfare have been through charity, philanthropy, and aid to the most vulnerable. However, this idea has been evolving gradually, and now citizens have rights to receive welfare services. Therefore, the idea of social welfare includes a right to these fundamental amenities. Social work and social welfare have a long history together. The average person continues to equate these two words. However, these two concepts are distinguished from each other. The specific goals of social welfare are to promote the welfare and development of the populace and to meet their needs. Social welfare and its administration both depend on developmental planning. We refer to the procedure utilized in organization and management of both public and private services as social administration. It covers endeavors that are made for the advantage of people, groups, and communities. To determine how the available resources are to be used in social welfare and the administration of such services, a process of organization and direction is required. The administration of social welfare may be done by the government, a single person, a group, or any association. The ultimate objective is to ensure the welfare of the population through the efficient use of resources, including natural, financial, and human. Planning, organizing, staffing, leading, cooperating, recording, and budgeting are so necessary for welfare of the administration. Administration of social welfare programs includes fundraising as a crucial component. Number 3, social reform. Social reform can be characterized as a charge in or replacement of institutions that have lost their functional relevance to the current social order and are generating deprivations and a loss of quality of life for sizable portions of the population. Such reforms or modifications can be started by a group of people who think that specific institutional changes in society are necessary for either social advancement or the eradication of certain social ills that harm a certain segment of the society. For the benefit of society as a whole, institutional structure and the norms that go along with it are changed, adjusted, or discarded as circumstances and time change. As change cannot be swiftly assimilated by a culture, it might be a protracted process. Social reform changes social institutions and provide suitable circumstances for those who are continuously subjugated to prejudice and social neglect to advance in their lives. Women's rights, the social advancement of the Harijans, slum community service centers, the elimination of sati, and many more initiatives are instances of social change. Another definition of social reform is the concerted effort of a group of people who share a similar ideology and work towards common objectives such as lowering the crime rate, increasing employment opportunities, combating poverty, and improving the region's overall economic and financial standing. It is a reform movement that seeks to bring about incremental change or change in specific facets of society, as opposed to quick or significant changes. The idea of such movements are often grounded in liberalism or socialist or religious concepts, which makes it different from social movements that are more radical, such as a revolutionary movement. Some reform movements relies on personal transformation, while others rely on small collectives like Mahatma Gandhi's spinning wheel and village economy, that is self-sustaining as a mode of social change. At times, reactionary movements emerge in an attempt to put these reform movements down so that the things are back the way they were before. Social work has a historic identification with social reform. The fact that social problems result from system defects as well as individual maladjustments, more focus has been given to professional schools to prepare people who can be agents of social change. Social reform does not require any specific skill. However, social work is practiced on the basis of professional skills to help the clients. Social work takes one step further by helping the person overcome his or her social maladjustments. Social reforms entails a dramatic transformation of the social system. In all religions, social change had a significant role. The social structure in India has a tight relationship with the history of social reform movement. The social reform movement, which took varied forms across India, was led by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He is regarded as the founder of modern India to eradicate child marriage, sati pratha, parda system, polytheism, and polygamy from Indian society. He founded Brahmo Samaj in 1828 in Calcutta as a platform to fight against the mentioned social evils. It also fought against the existing superstitions. Another reform movement following Brahmo Samaj was the Aligarh movement by Sayyid Ahmad Khan in 1875. The objective was to promote Western education among the Muslim community and to work for their upliftment. Number 4. Social justice. Jesuit Luigi Tapparelli came up with the phrase social justice in the 1840s. Social justice is justice in terms of distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society. It is a notion that expresses an effort to create a society that values equality and human rights. Rights and equality in a society cannot exist without social justice. It is founded on laws and regulations which also cover the process of creating rules and application of penalties for breaking the law. In social life, justice is a fundamental moral principle. In order to support specific arrangements that will promote procedural fairness, just distribution, or equality, it offers precise rules that can be used to judge the appropriateness of a certain act or institution. In Western and Asian cultures, the concept of social justice is often referred to the process of ensuring that individuals fulfill their societal roles and receive their due from the society. However, in the present times, the importance is given on breaking of barriers for social mobility, creation of safety nets, and economic justice. It alludes to the idea of achieving justice or fairness. Whether a society has a high level of economic egalitarianism can be determined by progressive taxation, income redistribution, or property redistribution. The principles of social justice and human rights are cornerstones for the social work profession. The social work profession is committed to achieving social justice for all. A society cannot advance or even continue to exist without justice. The goal of social work methods and practices are to promote social justice and everyone's welfare. These are a few of the fundamental tenets of social work. Next we have at number 5, human rights. Human dignity must first be restored and protected before any other natural right of an individual. Therefore, human rights are such moral rights which are inherent to all human beings, irrespective of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other such statuses. Right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, etc., are some forms of human rights. Human rights are described as being intergenerational, universal, indivisible, and unalienable. They are undeniable, inherent to all human beings, and are applicable universally and are egalitarian, that is, they are same for everyone. Human rights require empathy and rule of law and are generally not taken away except on some specific circumstances. Previously, the lower races have always been subjugated to some form of torture by the dominant and superior races. As the dominated races oppose exploitation all throughout the world, such acts and events led to violence and carnage. Each nation gradually came to understand the need for a civilized society as well as the need for independence. As a result, every nation came together to fight for national independence as a common goal. Following the establishment of new governments, everyone worked together to advance liberty, equality, and fraternity among the populace, which led to global awakening on human rights. The doctrine of human rights are emphasized in international law and global regional institutions, states, non-governmental organizations, etc. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights contains the numerous areas of human rights, and the 10th of December is designated as Human Rights Day. The proclamation affirms each person's right to their own personal, civic, political, economic, social, and cultural freedoms. The right to life, liberty, and personal security are amongst the rights. The Universal Declaration contains 3 distinct sets of human rights: political or individual freedom, right to a fair trial, freedom of speech and religion, freedom of movement and assembly, guarantee against discrimination, slavery, and torture fall under the political and civil human rights. The next one consists of economic and social and cultural rights. A set of collective rights among nations, a social and international order. It requires intergovernmental cooperation on world issues like freedom, economic development, and environmental protection. There should not be any domination or exploitation operated by a country on another. The idea of human rights is one that the social work profession places a lot of emphasis on. Social workers respect the basic human rights of individuals and groups as expressed in the UDHR and other international conventions derived from the Declaration, according to the International Federation of Social Workers. Realizing human rights for everyone is crucial prerequisite for the field of social work. Number 6. Social security. Social security is the protection against certain hazards to which people are subject that society seeks to achieve through proper agencies and institutions. One could describe it as a program of protection against all hazards of modern life, such as illness, unemployment, dependency in old age, accidents, and others. Public aid, social infrastructure, social insurance, health, education, and social welfare programs can all be used to offer social security. The Maternity Benefit Act of 1961 is a prime illustration of a social security program in India. The International Social Security defines social security as: social security can include social insurance programs, mutual benefit schemes, national provident funds, and other arrangements, including market-oriented approaches that, in accordance with national law or practice, form part of a country's social security system. Access to social security is a universal right. The program began in Europe in late 19th century, followed by its inclusion and enshrinement in 1948 United Declaration of Human Rights as a basic human right. However, its access is quite limited, which are to be addressed considering the wider political issues, demographic of aging population, evolving family structures, the impact of economic globalization, the growth of labor markets, and epidemiological and environmental developments. Social security is the key to long-term social and economic development. Throughout history, social security has never once stopped adapting to new changes, but at present times, with rapidly changing environment, social security for all has become a reality. The field of social work also borrows heavily from the idea of social security because it incorporates social security into its programming activities to ensure that people can live secure lives. The Social Security program and protections that are accessible in their field of practice must be known to social workers. As the intermediary between the client and the social security programs, the social worker might act as a resource mobilizer. Next, we have social policy and legislation. Social policy and legislation are sets of rules guaranteed by the government for a particular state to ensure the welfare and protection of all sections of people. It provides compulsory provisions for social welfare and is non-discriminatory in nature. Social welfare is not possible without legal provisions for solutions of social problems. It constitutes a body of rules recognized by community as binding upon itself. The main objective of social policy and legislation are to enhance the well-being of the society by providing people with protection from injustice and by punishing those who violate such rules. Social policies and legislation also deals with various social problems that hinder social and economic development. They bring about social reforms and social changes that deals with social problems and propounded social rules and principles. The main objective of social policies and legislation is to ensure the security of the society to improve its social and economic condition. Therefore, it is closely related to social work profession. Social workers, with the use of methods like community organization, social action, and social work research, strive to formulate and alter social policies and legislations for the benefit of all sections of the society. Number 8. Social development. One of the fundamental goals of the profession of social work is social development. It focuses on enhancing everyone's well-being in the society so that they can realize their greatest potential. The happiness of every citizen is essential to society's success. Investing in individuals is essential to social progress. Social development means investing in people. Barriers must be taken down in order for all citizens to pursue their goals with dignity and self-assurance. The 5 most important characteristics associated with social development are cooperation, rotation, initiative or leadership, sharing, discipline, and participation. The stages of society's development journey is characterized by physical, vital, and mental stage. Such social development is the foundation for success in life and helps build a strong relationship and establish effective communication with everyone. It has to do with refusing to believe that those who are impoverished would always be like that. Helping people advance to their path of self-sufficiency is the main goal of social development. To reduce poverty, we need to take a social developmental approach and invest in our people. By investing in people, we can reduce poverty. We need to go beyond looking at government to find ways to develop our most vulnerable resources, that is, our people. We need to share responsibility with community organizations, businesses, universities, and municipalities in the task of improving the well-being of all and preventing and reducing poverty. Social workers work closely with individuals, groups, and communities to bring about development, and social development is one major broad objective of social work practice. Thus, to achieve social development, social welfare and administration reform providing social security measures become very crucial. Let us sum up what we have discussed so far. We began with a brief introduction of the topic. Then we proceeded to discuss our concepts that were social service, social reform, justice, social policy and legislation, human rights, social security, and development. With that, we have come to the end of today's unit. Thank you.